Have you ever dreamed of a paradise with crystal clear waters, colorful coral reefs and untouched islands? Now imagine that same paradise facing the threat of industrial mining. This is the real story of Raja Ampat, a breathtaking place in Indonesia that is now at the center of a growing environmental debate. Hello and welcome to Explore and Learn, the podcast where you improve your English while discovering the world. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a real-world issue, literally. We're talking about Raja Ampat. If you haven't heard of Raja Ampat before, let me paint you a picture. Imagine sailing through turquoise waters, with small green islands rising from the sea like ancient giants. Under the water, coral reefs teeming with life, sea turtles, manta rays, and thousands of species of fish. Above the surface, birds of paradise fly across the sky. This is Raja Ampat, often called the crown jewel of Indonesia's marine biodiversity. But recently, Raja Ampat has been in the news, and not for a good reason. In early 2025, videos and reports began circulating on social media about a nickel mining permit being approved near or within the Raja Ampat region. Many people were shocked. Why would a place so beautiful, so fragile, be opened up to industrial mining? Let's break it down. What is Raja Ampat? Raja Ampat is a group of over 1,500 small islands located in West Papua, in the eastern part of Indonesia. The name Raja Ampat means four kings, referring to the four major islands Waigeo, Batanta, Salawati, and Misul. It's not just a pretty place. Scientifically, it's one of the most important marine ecosystems on Earth. Some experts say Raja Ampat has the highest marine biodiversity on the planet. It's also home to indigenous communities, who have lived there for generations, relying on the ocean for food, culture, and tradition. What's happening with the nickel mining? In 2025, reports began to surface that a mining company had received permission to explore for nickel in parts of West Papua, including areas near Raja Ampat. Why nickel? Well, nickel is used in batteries, especially for electric vehicles. As the world moves toward green energy, the demand for nickel has skyrocketed. Ironically, in the effort to go green, we may be destroying one of the greenest and most biodiverse places on Earth. This has caused a lot of controversy. Environmental groups are warning that mining could damage coral reefs, pollute the ocean, and displace local communities. Some scientists say the destruction could be irreversible. On the other hand, the government argues that development could bring economic benefits to the region, jobs, infrastructure, and investment. So the big question is, how do we balance development and conservation? What's at stake? Let me share some quick facts. Over 75% of all known coral species can be found in Raja Ampat. More than 1,500 species of fish live in these waters. Many species found here are endemic, which means they exist nowhere else on Earth. If mining damages these ecosystems, it's not just a local problem, it's a global loss. But it's not only about biodiversity. The local Papuan communities depend on the land and sea. Their culture, identity, and livelihood are deeply connected to nature. Mining not only risks the environment, it can affect their entire way of life. A global conversation. This issue goes beyond Indonesia. In fact, what's happening in Raja Ampat reflects a global challenge. How can we support progress and economic development without destroying the very ecosystems we need to survive? Think about it. We all want electric vehicles, clean energy and climate action. But are we ready to face the environmental cost of producing those technologies? Sometimes the solution to one problem can create a new one. So maybe the real question is, can we build a greener world without sacrificing the last pieces of paradise?
Let's reflect. Now I want you, our listeners, to take a moment and think about this colon. What do you value more? Short-term economic growth or long-term? Environmental sustainability? If you were part of the local community in Raja Ampat, what would you feel? And as an English learner, what new words or expressions stood out to you in this episode? You don't need to answer now. But maybe, after this episode ends, take a few minutes to write your thoughts in English. That way, you're not just listening, you're practicing. Active thinking and speaking too. Let's go over some useful vocabulary from this episode colon. Biodiversity. The variety of living species in an area. Endemic. Native to a specific place. Found nowhere else. Ecosystem. A biological community of interacting organisms and their environment. Irreversible. Something that cannot be undone. Displace. To force people or animals to leave their home. Conservation. The act of protecting the environment. Sustainable. Able to continue without harming the environment.
Try to use these words in a sentence later, maybe in your writing or when talking to a study partner. So, what do we take away from this? Raja Ampat is more than a tourist destination. It's a reminder that nature is both beautiful and fragile, and that every decision we make about energy, economy, or the environment has a cost. As English learners, this is your chance to connect language with real-world issues. Not only are you learning new words, you're also learning to think critically in English. Thank you for listening to Explore and Learn. If you found this podcast helpful, share it with a friend, or replay the episode to practice your listening skills. And remember, sometimes, the best way to improve your English is by learning something that truly matters.
Don't forget to subscribe.